and he should be here in a few minutes. Yeah, let me get that link for y'all for anybody else that want to jump on the stream. Oh, there you go. See my man, little big Nate made it. All right. Huh. Kind of funny business going on here. That should be much better. Okay. My man, little big Nate here. If anybody has been in the Black Manosphere in the past, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 3 months, actually, you probably know this man and know him by first name. I call him LBN. Uh, he's a major political pundit, as I would like to call it. So I want him to introduce himself. Little big late, you here? Let's do
Hey,
it.
I'm here, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Sitting
What
back.
can I call you? What's the best thing to call you, bro?
Lasher.
Lasher. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Pleasure to be on your platform, Lasher. I appreciate it. Yeah, man. I know I've become known for the political stuff, but I've got a whole host of different perspectives on things. But I'm more than happy to talk about whatever you'd like to talk about.
Well, I mean, I like your perspectives on a lot of things when it comes to politics. I agree with most of them, but this is what I want you to do for the crowd and everybody else watching, well, posterity or whatever. Um, I got the topic being liberals, conservatives, and libertarians, and what can they do for the black community as it stands. And for one, to start, I'd like you to give a definition of each for people that might not know the nuances of liberals, conservatives, and libertarians. So, if you could lay that out for us.
Sure, no problem. To me, a liberal is someone who is consumed, it would appear, with keeping up with whatever a new group happens to be the group that is being focused on, homosexuality, minorities, immigrants, people who think that the government in some way, shape, or form is going to be able to give these people the life that they're supposed to have, the life that only an individual can give themselves, to be honest with you. Liberals believe in the complete and total power of the federal government to do any and all things for people. And, if you ask me, that's the definition I would give you. Just someone who believes in the complete and total power of the federal government to do any and all things for individuals. A conservative, I would define as somebody who believes more in the individual's ability to do what they need to do for themselves. They don't look to any type of government entity to provide them with the things that they're supposed to have in life. People that are more focused on a traditional sense of what values are, family values, traditional roles for males and females, acknowledging that, there is a creator that also determines things like what sex we are. We really don't have the power to determine that ourselves. And libertarians, they believe more in the best way to describe a libertarian.
As a conservative that smokes weed.
Someone that believes in almost the government having no powers whatsoever, I would say. You know, libertarians just believe in freedom. You know, it's a political philosophy that really absolutely limits the role of government at all. Yeah, I mean, it greatly limits the involvement of government in one's life. You know, libertarians basically they believe in very little government involvement, especially federal government involvement. They can acknowledge, you know, local government much more than they do federal government. But it's just about maximizing, you know, political freedom and stuff. That's the loose definition I would give to libertarianism.
Okay. Now, what I get from that is, okay, liberals are basically socialist in a sense of, I mean, wanting the government to provide everything for you. I mean, as a human being with some individuality, you should be able to do that for yourself, which goes to a more conservative point. The conservatives are like, you know, limited government. I mean, but it should still be there. Yeah. But I see conservatives as being more authoritarian than, you know, the way liberals see everything. I mean, the liberals they want the government to do everything. I mean, it boggles the mind. Now,
go ahead. Yeah,
the libertarians, the ones that I know, tend to lean right. You know,
absolutely. Yeah, they have a lot more in common, libertarians and conservatives, than any other any relationship to the liberals there would be. There's a lot of commonality between those two groups, but there are some significant differences also.
Right. Like I consider the liberals the equivalent. What we call liberal left here in Europe, they would call right, actually. Not far right, but like right moderate, which I don't get. But yeah, the liberals, they just the whole social piece. I mean, I understand things like Social Security, disability benefits, and things like that. I understand that because that's something that you work for, and that can be necessary for some stuff. But this whole nanny state and the whole, I think the whole like what do they call it? The food stamps, SNAP, EBT program. Yeah, I think that whole thing should be revamped.
Well, unfortunately, when the government subsidizes something, they just get more of it. If you subsidize single motherhood, you're going to get more of it. You subsidize out of wedlock births, you're going to get more of it. That's basically what the government's done in an attempt to quote unquote help, you know, poorer communities. All you've done is expanded them tremendously in the Black community, in the white community. Very seldom do you see someone use welfare to actually get out of poverty. Oftentimes it just puts them deeper into it because these young ladies have one child, then they'll have another, then they'll have another. Then that child becomes 16 and they have a child. You know, I've been to households, you know, I'm an auto damage appraiser. I've been to households where there are 3 generations of women under the roof, you know?
Oh yeah, I completely understand. I'm from Chicago. I'm from Inglewood. I don't live there now. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. But That's what I grew up around. I mean, me and a couple of other guys on the block were the only men with fathers in the house. When I think back about that, I think this is absurd almost. But
It's scary. It's scary, man. Unfortunately, Democrats have told all women in this country, but specifically Black women, that men are largely inconsequential to the development and cultivation of a child. And we have a lot of Black women, both on and off welfare, who adhere to that doctrine. Men are inconsequential. They are not essential to the raising of a child. We've heard Black women say, I'm the mama and the daddy. Black women celebrating Father's Day, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. I had to get off Facebook because of that. I've been on Facebook for like 4 years. People say, man, you should get on Facebook and check. Nah, man, I'm straight. I don't need all the propaganda.
No, it's pretty bad. Plus, you'll get banned. God forbid you say anything out of pocket, you'll get banned. I've probably had 6 or 7 30-day bans on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I swear to God, I've had 5 or 6 30-day bans because, I'll say something that's not approved by Facebook, and somebody will report it. Yeah, and also liberals, and that gives you an example of their feelings on free speech. It was the Nazis that burned the books. It was, Nazis also tried to control language. Liberals have a thing about controlling language also.
Yeah, because Nazis were the National Socialists.
Socialists, absolutely. National Socialists, absolutely. There was a law that I think it was in 2016 or 17, the state legislature in California tried to pass, the Democrats, and it would have listed a series of punishments that medical professionals can suffer, up to and including termination, if they decide to refer to a person as the sex they were born with, if they decide they're another sex.
Yeah.
What?
No.
Yes. No. Yes, you can Google it, bro.
That is bizarre,
it didn't pass. It didn't pass. But
Thank God.
they introduced it in the state legislature. Yeah, man. The infringement on people's right of free speech, the right to express yourself, your ideas, to get in the marketplace of ideas. It's happening all over college campuses, all over this country. Conservatives like Ann Coulter, Pat Buchanan, they get booed off campus. They're not allowed to speak on campus now. Violence ensues in some cases. Yeah, man. They are very serious about limiting speech. YouTube limits speech. Alex Jones has been taken off of YouTube. There's been several.
Yeah, I remember when that happened.
Yeah. They pull Yiannopoulos. He's a famous homosexual.
Yeah, I know.
Supposed to be some kind of conservative or something. Yeah. They just yank them off. You don't like the speech, you get yanked off. This is where we're headed. And when Black men vote for Democrats, that's what they're voting for.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the main things I wanted to push when I started coming up on panels a couple of months ago. I want Black men to know what they're voting for.
Because a lot of these guys don't know.
They don't.
They don't know.
Our default setting in the Black community is to vote Democrat. Our default setting. It's if we go in a voting booth, without thinking, we just pull that lever for the Democrats. And we don't think about it, especially as Black men. What business do we have voting Democrat? And when I say things like that, Democrats will get upset. They'll get in their feelings and they'll say things like, well, you act like the Republicans like us. And I've always said, I don't care if the Republicans like us or not.
Right, because
it doesn't matter.
It's not about being liked. It's about what they can do for me.
It's about the policies, and not in the way that Democrats and leftists and liberals and progressives, scream about policies. The policies that most Republicans want enacted have to do with lowering of taxes, deregulating certain aspects of the economy to make establishing small businesses easier, securing our border, school choice, limiting abortion, limiting welfare, not out of some anger or resentment of those who receive welfare, but literally to help stop the spread of government dependency, man. Welfare robs you of your initiative.
Yes, it does.
It absolutely robs you of your initiative, brother. And that's the message I've just been trying to bring, and I've gotten some pushback. I've gotten some brothers very, very upset, but I don't attack people individually. I do attack institutions. I attack ideologies, but I don't attack individuals. I don't do that. But they still oftentimes tend to get in their feelings. But what can you do about that?
I want to, on a note that you made about political correctness and how the liberals, they go gung-ho on trying to censor people's speech. I've noticed, I don't know if you're a major like comedy fan or anything like that. I like comedy. I mean, not so much now as I used to, because what I considered funny just 10 years ago would get people fired from their jobs.
Absolutely.
And get them, quote unquote, canceled.
Absolutely.
I wish Patrice O'Neal never died. Me Too would have never happened. And it's like, people talk about like Louis C.K. and he did this and Me Too that. Or it's like the comedians now aren't funny. And, I spend a lot of time on Reddit. I spend about 80% of my online time on Reddit. And
oh, wow. Okay.
Different forums. And, people talk about just different stuff in different forums. And just the other day, they were talking about Eddie Murphy Raw.
I think it was 85, 86, I think. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, 85, 86. Yeah.
I remember that. Yes, sir.
And it was people, in a Gen X forum where, I'm Gen X. I'm sure you are too. And it's like, they were like, man, that was so funny back in the day. But, I let my 17-year-old son watch it and he was offended by everything in it. And then it made me feel like I was wrong for laughing at it. And I'm like, you got to be out of your fucking mind to think that's ridiculous.
Your son. That's, oh man, one of the most. Let me explain just a little sidebar. I didn't mean to interrupt you, bro.
No, go ahead.
When there are no men to protect women and children, the wicked can reign. And what they're doing, they're systematically removing men from the society. Psychologically, you're not allowed to be a man anymore without suffering all sorts of repercussions for what you might say, how you might approach a woman. I'm not talking about grabbing her or anything. If you saw that Gillette commercial that lost them, that cost them an $8 billion write-down. They had to write down their valuation, $8 billion after the losses they suffered from that horrible commercial. There was a scene in it where two little white boys are in a backyard, and there are several fathers barbecuing, and they stopped the two little boys from wrestling. That's all I did when I was a little boy.
Yeah, same here.
Wrestle. I'd watch a ninja movie and
then go crazy watching Bruce Lee.
I go eat shit. I'm watching a ninja movie, dog. Are you serious? And there's one scene, and man, go back and watch this when you get an opportunity. This white guy this black guy standing outside, right? This young white girl walks in front of the black guy, and a white guy comes up and reaches out to her and says, "Hey." And the black guy stops him and shakes his head no. All the white guy did was say, "Hey." He was trying to approach a woman he found attractive. I thought that's how it's supposed to work.
That is how it's supposed to work.
No, not according to these people. And then here comes the black guy. He steps in the middle and stops the white guy from approaching the white woman.
Yeah, that don't even make sense. I mean,
it's insanity, dude.
I mean, white dude had the right to slap him. You know, like
He should have exactly.
Yeah, this my people.
He should slap the shit out of him, dog. They don't want men, and when there are no men, they can do whatever they want to the women, and more importantly, to the children.
Yeah.
And now we got 17-year-old boys, just like you said in that subreddit, that are now offended by Eddie Murphy Raw. I could see some ditzy female being offended because Eddie Murphy, he did go in.
Yeah.
I could see some ditzy female being offended, but a dude, man, when the dudes start feeling that way, that's a sign of maybe we're close to the end, bro.
Yeah, well, it was not just it was the guy, his son was upset about it, and it made him feel upset as if he shouldn't like the movie no more.
Oh,
because
well, that's even worse.
Times have changed.
The father's supposed to pull his son aside and say, hey, son, look, a lot of what you see going on out here in our country is bullshit right now. It's nonsense. You always stand on your square. Always. You stand on what's true. You stand on logic. And this is why some of these leftist dudes will come up on panels and they'll get up. I've had men just start cursing at me. I haven't said a word to them. They just start cursing at me for some reason because they're angry at the things they've heard me say in the past. And what they're angry at is how hard it is to defeat logic. It's very difficult to defeat it, man.
Yeah.
When you lay out something in a logical fashion, man, it burns them up so much.
Yeah, it does make it. I had a guy tell me, well, you got to use logic all the time to explain something. Sometimes you just need to feel how you feel about it. It was a guy I used to work with about 5 years ago, and because we were talking about, this was right before Trump got elected. It was oh, he's a buffoon, and he's like, I'm like, man, but logically, he's like, why you gotta use logic all the time, man? Sometimes by how you feel.
You gotta use logic all the time.
Oh my God. That made me look. I looked at him like, yeah, you was raised by your mom.
Absolutely. We haven't. When a lot of times when these Democrat dudes start wilding out on these panels, I just say, you are your mother's son. You are your mother's son, dog. It's obvious. It's obvious who had the overall influence on your thinking, on your upbringing, who you've been modeled after. And when a child is not allowed to be around their father, you deny a child access to logical, reasoned thinking. And this is why Black women are so incredibly out of pocket. 90% of what comes out of most Black women's mouths is just complete nonsense.
I find that most of them are completely incorrigible.
Yeah,
I'm married to a white woman because of that.
Oh wow!
I mean,
it's sad, man. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that. But my point is, if 90% of what comes out of their mouths is nonsense, we should not be modeling ourselves after them. We as the men, and largely Black men, are beginning to move in the opposite direction of that. More and more Black men they're not voting like Black women. This space is growing because Black men are speaking out against the gynocracy, against this matriarchal madness that we're stuck in.
Right.
Black women in charge. I mean, the Democrat Party, when they want to speak to the Black community, they only speak to the Black women. Democrats do not address us at all. We don't exist to them.
Because they ran us off.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, their policies, I don't know how I don't know how white men vote Democrat. That's the ultimate in lunacy. Because the Democrat Party openly says that white men are evil. All white people are terrible. And I think Trump got 65% of the white male vote, which is massive. That's enormous. But that still leaves over 30% of white men voting for Hillary Clinton. How the hell do you, dude? It's any man voting Democrat to me it's madness.
It's because of that old saying, that old adage: if you're young and vote conservative, you're a monster. if you're old and you vote liberal, you're an idiot.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
You
I
haven't?
have to use that.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've never heard that one before. But yeah, man. And the thing about you almost have never heard me on these platforms say vote. You need to vote Republican. I don't say that because voting Republican, our salvation is not in voting Republican.
No,
Our
it's not.
salvation is in changing our thinking, our culture, and our behavior. Black American culture is 100% toxic. It just is.
I'll say 99, 98%, because there
98%.
are a couple of good things about it, you know.
But popular Black American culture, I'll say that.
The media.
Yeah, media, music, current day music.
It's horrible.
Yeah. It's almost 100% toxic. It really is.
I mean, I'm a DJ. I listen to house music. You know?
Oh, okay. Gotcha. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you, sir?
I'm 42.
Okay, Lasher. Okay. I got the impression you were a young cat. What is Lasher Gaming Deviant? I have no idea what that is.
Lasher is a nickname that I picked up from an author of these books that I like. You ever heard of Anne Rice?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, she wrote the Interview with the Vampire. She has series about witches, and short. To make it short, one of the witches gets impregnated by this creature called a Talatos from another dimension, and he grows up, and his name is Lasher, and the dude, he was a deviant, and he did some vicious stuff. And they kind of translated into my DJing and how I am when it comes to playing video games and stuff. I could be vicious.
Gotcha. So, okay, all right, appreciate that. I was wondering what that name meant. I was just completely clueless, but I appreciate the explanation. Thank you.
Okay, before we move on to conservatives, I got one last thing about liberals that it kind of burns me up.
Sure, what's that?
What is their problem with the Second Amendment?
I'll tell you what the problem is, and this is, you might need to fit yourself for a tinfoil hat for this. But this is kind of my overview of what's going on. There's an elite, and I believe that they're, for the most part, Luciferian. And they work their social programs through the Democrats. They work like imperialistic and their economic desires through the Republicans. Imperialistic meaning war. Starting wars in different countries, and these huge corporations paying no taxes, things of that nature. So in order for them to take complete control over society, and this has been true throughout history, when you remove the guns from a society, you have complete control. When the federal government and state government, meaning the police, state and local police, when they're the only ones with weapons, all forms of government will have total control over the people. What keeps America free to a large extent is the fact that there's more guns than people in America.
I live in Texas. I know.
There's probably 3 times the guns than there are people in the state of Texas.
Oh, definitely. I can tell you that from personal experience.
Absolutely. And salute to my Texans out there. Absolutely, man. The Second Amendment, bruh, it keeps us free. It allows us to protect our property, our family, our loved ones. I'm calling the police after things are done.
Yeah, I call a coroner first.
Yeah.
I call a coroner, then I call a lawyer.
You come looking to bust in my shit. I'm do my best to handle it myself, because that's the punishment you're going to deserve. And then I'm calling the police after.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's a bunch of you, I'll probably dial 911 first. But yeah, if it's just 1 or 2 of you and you're trying to get into my shit and I'm at home, I'm going to handle it myself. And then I'll call the police and the coroners to come clean everything up.
If it's a bunch, you get that AR-15.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't have one of those yet. I
Oh, man.
will be, because the way things are going, when you look at what's going on in these streets with this nightmare called BLM and Antifa, Democrat mayors all over this country allowing their cities to burn, allowing these miscreants, these amoral, sadistic pieces of shit to break into people's businesses and rob them and set people's cars on fire. This is people's personal property that they've worked for. And their excuse that, well, they have insurance. They have insurance. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
So what? I mean, you know what? I hear about it. I see it when I get on the internet and look at the news or watch the news. But where I live, you don't see any of that shit.
No,
I mean, it happened for like 2 days in Dallas. And it was a couple of protests here in Fort Worth, and they walked across the bridge, threw some water bottles at the police.
And that's it.
And that's it.
And you know, the governor, I forget the gentleman's name, the gentleman that's in the wheelchair. Abbott?
Abbott.
Yeah, Abbott. Governor. I know Governor Abbott ain't playing that shit. Governor Abbott ain't playing that shit. Ain't no way in hell he's going to allow no fools to be burning people's shit down.
But it wasn't even Abbott that really had anything to do with it. It's just the people here not going to take that shit.
Oh, okay, cool. And I'm in South Carolina, bro. Not a peep of that shit. Up in Charlotte, I'm not too far from Charlotte, North Carolina. Right. There was some protesters. I think they lit like a trash can on fire, but that was it. And then it got shut down. It all got shut down. Nah, dude, these Democrat run cities, not all of them, of course, but
a lot of them.
Wherever you saw things being set ablaze and violence, dude, that is a Democrat run city. 100% of the time, it was a Democrat run city.
You know what's funny about that statement is, all right, I grew up in Chicago and I lived there for 30 years. Now, we had the dailies in Chicago.
The father and the son, I believe.
Yeah. And we had, first black mayor, Washington. And they were all Democrats. But they all had like a mob mentality. Because it's kind of a cliche that Chicago politicians, if they don't die, when they come out of office, they go to jail.
Oh, wow.
And it's true. Like every governor from Chicago or from Illinois is gone to jail.
Blagojevich. Yeah.
I think Trump's going to let him off, though.
Yeah. Trump's going to pardon him. Absolutely.
But at the time I left, I saw it was a change coming there, and now it's becoming Detroit. You don't see that when you go downtown and you look at the skyscrapers and all that. But when you go in these neighborhoods, though, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well,
it's not
Laura Lightfoot, I think her name is.
Yeah, Lightfoot.
Yeah. She's a piece of work. Trump wanted to send in National Guard to help keep all that very expensive downtown real estate safe, and she said no. Don't you send anybody in here. And now she's using state security to keep her governor's mansion safe and doesn't want protesters outside of her home. Oh, okay.
Right, yeah. Well, the governor lives in Chicago now because he's from a large family, the Pritzkers. And they're like socialites, and they work in the arts, and they like billionaires and all that. So one of them actually became governor, and he actually still lives in the city instead of down in Springfield.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I find that ludicrous that you need protection for your neighborhood and your block, and over on Obama's house in Hyde Park.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, what about Inglewood? What about Pilsen? What about all those neighborhoods that be torn to shreds because of this whole thing?
And no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that's just a microcosm, because I mean, I look at like Portland. Have you seen Portland?
Oh my God, dude.
That shit is ridiculous.
Yeah. Portland, yes. Portland.
I'm like, I think,
Seattle
like,
too.
Seattle too,
also.
yeah. I look at that and I think
Nightmare.
like that remind me of like one of them Baltic states in the 90s. Like that's what that shit looks like.
Yeah, with Clinton intervening in the Baltics and stuff. Yeah, an absolute bedlam in the streets.
I'm like, that's not America.
No.
You know?
Well, that's what they want to turn America into. Chaz, the Republic of Chaz, you know, those 6 square blocks in Seattle downtown.
Yeah.
They got taken over. Do you know that, you know, Chaz had declared itself a country? Those 6 square blocks, these pathetic loser idiots said that they were a country. Do you know that in the 3 to 4 weeks that they occupied, there were 5 shootings, there were 2 murders, both young black men, 119, 116. There were like 4 rapes, dozens of sexual assaults, dozens of thefts reported, all from the individuals in this wonderful, beautiful Republic of Chaz.
The same thing happened a few years ago during the whole Occupy protest.
Yeah, in New York, yeah.
They did it down here in Dallas. They had the Occupy protest there.
Yeah, they had Occupy all these different towns in America. Occupy Austin, Occupy Dallas. Yeah, I remember that.
They were like rape cities. What they were.
That's basically what was happening. Complete lawlessness, bedlam, all sorts of physical and sexual assaults going on. This is what they want. This is what these lunatics want. What do you think the whole defund the police push is? We're going to get rid of the mechanism that keeps law and order in our country. So we have full access to all of you hardworking Americans' assets and resources. People are going to be coming up into our houses, marching through our fucking neighborhoods like they did. I forget what community it was in, but there was BLM marching through a gentrified white neighborhood. It was black and now it's gentrified. White people moved in, cleaned it up, did what they were supposed to do, got the property values up, and now they're living in there, you know, peacefully. Black people are marching, black and white people are marching through this community at night saying, give us back our houses. Get out of our houses, telling white people to get out of their own homes.
I wish a motherfucker would come down my street saying that shit.
Boy, let me see somebody with a Molotov cocktail in the middle of the street about to throw something in my house. I'm popping. I'm straight popping on them, dog. That's it. It's a wrap for you. It's a fucking wrap for you, dog. You don't get to destroy what I've built for me and my family.
Only decision to be made is how large a gun should I use.
Well, you're a Texan, boy. You should have access to plenty. I love living in southern states, dude. I love it. I'm from New York, dog.
I can tell.
Yeah. I'm from New York, man. And I moved down here when I was 13, 14 years old, dude. And there's no way I would live in a Northeast city under no circumstances, or a Midwest city, or far out west. No, I'll be happy in the South or in the middle of the country, Colorado, or Oklahoma, something.
That's the Midwest, you know. I mean, that is the Midwest. That's the real Midwest,
not the West, though. California, Oregon, Washington, no. I cannot live out there, dude. Your state's almost been overtaken by Californians that have relocated.
You know what? It sounds like that, but it's not that bad. It's the Californians that come here are Mexican immigrants or Mexican Americans or whatever.
Okay. I've heard. You've heard all this talk about turning Texas blue.
No, it won't happen. The last time Texas was blue was in the 90s.
Ann Richards.
Yeah.
Ann Richards. Yeah, she's the former governor of Texas.
Yeah, and she wasn't that. It wasn't that blue.
She wasn't a liberal. She wasn't no crazy liberal. No, not at all. Not at all. I remember Ann Richards. And but yeah, bro, all those transplants coming. running from California, how horrible California's become. I just read stories about all these people moving into Texas from California. That's why I said that.
It's not just from California though. It's from all over. It's cats from New York, Philadelphia, all over the hell. I'm from Chicago and I moved here and I got a lot of flack. Man, y'all coming down here taking our jobs.
No.
I'm like, no, we ain't taking y'all jobs. Y'all just didn't want them.
As long as you're not bringing that leftist liberal ideology, what I don't understand is you got these people moving from California, but they're bringing their same leftist ideology that destroyed California. You want to bring it to Texas now and destroy Texas?
Because Texas has one place that is like the epicenter of
Austin.
Liberalism. Yes,
Austin, right? Yeah, that's what I've read. Austin.
Joe Rogan just moved to Austin.
I heard, yeah. I don't think Joe Rogan's a real liberal, though.
No, he's what I would call
back and forth. He kind of jumps back and forth.
He's what I would call like a moderate libertarian.
Yes, he is definitely more libertarian than anything. That is true. But yeah, man. Yeah, salute to Texas, man. I'm actually thinking of relocating the next few years to either Colorado or Texas.
I've thought about moving from here. Me and my wife were thinking about moving to Colorado, like Denver and things like that.
Absolutely. I hear a lot of good stuff about Colorado.
You know what? Denver is on par with Portland.
As far as the leftists.
Yes.
Yes, that is true.
And when they legalized the weed there, you got all these people from all the hippies from around the country going there. Yeah, they got legal weed and all that. And I mean, I don't knock anybody's preference if that's what they want to do. I mean, I'm having a glass of whiskey right now while we talk. But I think that's a retarded reason to move somewhere.
It is. It's ridiculous. Well, for marijuana to be that big a part of your life is a problem.
Yeah.
You know, and again, like you said, you know, to each his own. You wanna smoke? I got no issues with it. But I mean, we've seen the effects of long-term heavy marijuana use. It does stifle your ability to get other things done in your life.
You lose ambition.
Absolutely.
And
you lose the incentive to actually accomplish a lot of things in life. Even though there's some marijuana dudes that make pretty good money, you know, in that market, but they're few and far between. Most of the people committed to that way of life, they never really fulfill what they could do in life, you know, if they weren't, you know, dependent on the marijuana. But to each his own.
Right. I got a tinfoil about that. A tinfoil theory about that.
What's that?
It's because marijuana is known to exacerbate schizophrenia and people susceptible to it. And what I think, you know, since they legalize it in all these different places, what we're going to see is around 2050, a major uptick in mental health and schizophrenics and people with paranoia disorders and all that from heavy usage.
Wow. First consider this marijuana is not marijuana.
It's not that shit I smoked in the 90s.
Yeah, this is not the marijuana from the 60s, the 80s, or the 90s, bro. This stuff is Frankenweed.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's not natural in the least, you know? And there are some serious side effects to this current day, you know, the loud, the kush, you know, these are not normal, you know, streams of marijuana, dude. These are something else.
I've seen that shit turn people into zombies, like
yes, sir.
At barbecues and stuff. People, they go smoke a blunt, they come back and it's just like completely different person.
Yeah, I've never understood the reliance on something like that. Like, I've had buddies when I was growing up that smoked a lot of weed and stuff, and my thing was, why don't you put some effort into changing the reality of your life instead of always escaping it? And that's what the weed always was. It was an escape. I would be like, hey, man, just, you know, go to tech school, go get a trade, go do something that's going to allow you to live a better life. You won't want to escape it so much.
Yeah, it's escaping to a book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Escape into a book, get some knowledge on something, and knowing things makes you all the more confident. When I get on these panels, man, I know that nobody's gonna really be able to shake me. They
I know that too. That's why I'm glad that you came today for my debut live stream. I just want to say I thank you, salute you, because
Oh no, absolutely.
it's absolutely wonderful.
I was on Mr. Fantastics and I told folks I was going to be on here. Just folks weren't familiar with your channel. I dropped it in the chat and stuff, but it'll make its way around. It'll make its way around. And once I start my channel, I'll be back on yours.
We can do this often. I actually want to get you into the politics of gaming because I wanted to talk to you about that tonight. All right, I know that you're not.
I know nothing about gaming, bro. I'll be honest with you. I know nothing about modern day gaming.
I think you should look into it a lot more. Like, we got this game that's everybody has been wanting to come out, and they're still working on it, called Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay.
I mean, I like cyberpunk stuff, and like Blade Runner and all that. So they have character creation.
Mm-hmm.
And you can pick a man or a woman, but now due to the complaints of a certain group, they've added transgender creation to the game.
Really?
And made major characters in the game transgenders with sex scenes and all that kind of stuff.
Whoa, sex scenes.
Hey, video games today have sex like movies.
my son's 22 years old. He's told me about GTA and Red Dead Redemption. But oh my God, actuals. And people under 18, I'm sure, can get on these games with no problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, it has the M on there for mature. That they're not supposed to be able to buy them, but
how the hell are you going to keep somebody from buying it if you're just downloading it now?
Well, I mean, you can go in the store and buy it, but I mean, the stores aren't supposed to sell it to them without an ID.
These stores are almost a thing of the past now. These stores aren't.
GameStop, no, it's still people like me that buy physicals because I actually like to own the stuff that I buy.
But just like the DVD, it's just a matter of time, bro.
Yeah,
the physical stuff probably won't even be here that much anymore.
We still got a couple of generations.
You think so?
Yeah, this new PS5 and Xbox that's coming out in the next couple of months, they have two versions of it now, where they have a version that has a disk drive
and one that doesn't. Yeah, my son told me that. Yeah. Interesting.
The thing is, I think if you download something, and what if the server shuts down 10 years from now? And I'm a retro gamer. I still got my old Nintendo games.
Oh wow!
So it's like, what if that server shuts down? Now all the extra content you can't access anymore. You can just access the base game. But it's like, do you really own bits and bytes and things like that? That's a different conversation for a different day. I just like to own what I buy.
Exactly. Understood.
Yeah, but the politics of these games, man, they out of control. The one that I have that's posted on this actual channel, it's called Disco Elysium, and it's literally I got to playing it, and then I had to discontinue putting the rest of it up because it's literally all like Marxist talk.
Wow.
Put into fantasy. And I mean, it's completely Marxist, and I was just like, okay, I got to stop this. So,
yeah, they always have to get a hold of the children, brother. That's what they do.
But they don't make these games for children. They make them for adults, people our age.
Well, but I consider an 18-year-old. They're technically an adult, but many of them still have the minds of children. They're still highly impressionable. And your most fervent supporters of this leftist liberal lunacy are your college-age students.
Yeah, my stepson, he'll be 18 next month, and it's his first vote, and all that. And he's he's going for Trump or whatever.
Yeah, my son is too. I'm trying to convince him to vote. He believes that the vote won't matter, but I'm trying to get him to understand that just go anyway, and press that button or pull that lever for Donald Trump, man.
Pull that black guilt on him. Put that black guilt on him. because hoses and dogs and people die.
Oh my God, man, get the hell out of here!
No, I mean, but it's the truth. I mean,
I'll say this: I've always wanted to have a bit of a conversation about that. Our ancestors died so they have the choice to vote if they choose to. If somebody doesn't want to vote, I don't have a problem with it.
You're not going to force them.
Yeah, I'm not going to guilt some. Oh, your ancestors died. It's the politician's job to sell themselves to the voter, to inspire the voter to take time out of their day, fill out that ballot, or go down to that voting booth. That's what the politician is supposed to do. I mean, if they don't do it, I'm not going to attack people because they're not inspired to go vote for somebody.
But is it the politician's job or is it Cardi B's job now?
Oh, Lasher. Oh, Lasher. Why would you?
And that's why they call me that.
Cardi, the rapist bee. You know she's a rapist, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, good. Because people seem to. I keep saying this all over the manosphere, but people don't pick it up. She is technically a rapist. And you got presidential Simone Sanders, that black leftist feminist wench with her crew cut and her waves and her part on the side. She used to be Bernie Sanders' campaign head. He sat down with Cardi B. Then when Bernie Sanders tanked, she jumped over and is now the head of Biden's campaign. And now Biden's sitting down with Cardi B. Do you understand how this shows you how little Simone Sanders thinks of black women?
Because you mean of black men?
Well, I think this is more even aimed at black women than men. Black men, we don't give a shit about Cardi B primarily. No. But black women look up to her. This is how backwards a lot of black women are. Black women look up to Cardi B, and this is how cynical that the view of black women is in the mind of Simone Sanders, that sitting this arroz con pollo whore down with Bernie Sanders is going to excite black American women to come out and vote for this man whose cognitive abilities are greatly diminished.
Oh yeah, he's addled all the way.
Yeah. Alzheimer's in full effect in this man's life. I'm sorry, dog. And it just shows you what the Democrats in general think about black people. They have absolutely zero regard for us. Zero. Especially black men. Especially black men.
They think so little that Biden can tell a black person, a black man, that if they don't vote for him, you ain't black.
And
but wait.
Okay,
but you can get a Puerto Rican or wherever she is that ain't black to tell black people to vote for Biden, and that's okay.
And also, don't forget the National Black Journalists Association rep who was talking to Biden, and Biden said, "What are you on, dope?" Or he said, "What are you on, coke or something? You on drugs, man?" Did you see that?
No, I don't think I've seen that. No.
Oh, dude, just go to YouTube. Well, go just say Biden accuses journalists of being on drugs. You'll see it. It's hilarious. He actually says, "What, man? What are you on, dope? Are you addicted to drugs or something, man? Come on, man." And he always talks to black people like that with this, "Come on, man. Come on, man."
Now I saw when he called that woman a dog face.
Gremlin, a dog face pony shooter or some shit.
Yeah.
Pony soldier, a dog face pony soldier. Like, what the fuck? What is this shit?
I said, this is for the people. These are the people you want to vote for you, and you just call it about.
And
come on, man.
Because of his diminished cognitive abilities, brother, he won't even be president. Harris will. Harris is going to be the president.
No, she won't make it.
No,
Well,
no, no, no.
he's not going to be president,
she'll be
period,
president.
because he's not going to win.
Well, no. I'm saying if he wins, he will not be president. She will. He'll be standing there, but she'll actually be the president, is what I'm saying. Because his cognitive abilities are gone for the most part. That's what I mean. If he were to win, Harris would actually be our president, just acting as vice president.
You know what? I think about this all the time. If the Democrats actually wanted to win the presidency at any point, their best bet would to be get a moderate Democrat with some right leanings, white male that ain't talking all that yay gay.
Bill Clinton.
And who nominates another white male vice president.
Exactly.
That's not anti-2A. They might have a chance if they did that.
Bro, what was the DNC all about? Well, excuse me, the DNCC or the Democrat National something committee that was real popular when Clinton was in office. He represented that middle of the road Democrat. You know, yeah. I forget the name of the group that headed up this more centrist Democrat party. But that's what Bill Clinton represented. You know, a Southern moderate Democrat, you know? And but I mean, today, dude, Bill Clinton wouldn't be able to run for president for the Democrat Party today. Are you crazy?
No.
Bill Clinton was against gay marriage. You know?
So was Obama the first time.
Obama, when he was a state senator, he was against gay marriage.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
Listen, I voted for him the first time because, hey, he's
Understood.
black, or as much as he can be. But that second time, I was all Romney. I was like, nah, this dude here.
I couldn't vote for anybody on that second Obama election. Romney is terrible. I'm like, both of these guys are terrible. It's just, I'll have to sit it out. And yeah, man, it's very interesting. They are. If you did you watch any of the DNC, the Democrat National Convention?
I watched some of the debates earlier.
Well, when the DNC, meaning, you know, when Biden got nominated.
Oh, hell no! I mean, no.
Oh my God, dude! It was a horror show. It was a horror show. They had a woman up there. Her name is J. Mai. Okay, Jaimai. You cannot refer to her as a woman. She prefers to be referred to as they and them. That's what you have to refer to her as, the pronouns. I'm going to read to you her biography from Wake Forest University. This is somebody that the Democrat Party put on the DNC as a representative of the Democrat Party to the American people.
And she went to Wake Forest?
Let me let you listen to her bio. This is Jay Mai's bio. She is a Black Vietnamese transgender, non-binary, gender transcended mermaid queen king. Bro, I'm not making this up. This is her bio from Wake Forest University. Okay? These are the people the Democrat Party are putting up to speak on their behalf. If you go to YouTube and put J. Mai, you'll see her speech come up that she gave at the DNC.
She needs to she needs to be in a sanitarium.
There's no words to describe these people, dog. A woman that won't let you call her a woman. You must refer to her as they and them.
I mean, does she consider herself a woman, but just want to be like part of the team or something?
Bro, I just described to you. She's a Black Vietnamese transgender, non-binary, gender transcended mermaid queen king. That's literally verbatim how she describes herself.
Well, They called me Airwolf then. God damn.
Dude, the lunacy of the left, man. When you vote Democrat, this is what you're voting for, dog.
When did they let them take over?
Oh man.
Because I have a similar question for you about conservatives as well.
Sure.
But continue.
When did they take over? I think it's just a slow progression. It's over a protracted period of time. They have to move more and more and more to the left to satisfy the people that are coming up with all these new wave ideas. And you're not going to say no. Just like you cannot be a pro-life Democrat. You cannot be. It is impossible. You will never get a platform in the Democrat Party being a pro-life Democrat. They become more and more strict to the adherence of their ideologies. And anyone that doesn't subscribe to it, you get pushed out. And the demands of these people become more and more insane. Pedophilia now is being accepted in the Democrat Party. You have Thomas.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Thomas K. Hubbard is a professor out of the University of Texas. If you Google his name, you'll see articles he's written. He's a Democrat. He's a leftist. And he writes about the quote unquote benefits of children having sex with adults. This is not, bruh.
There is no benefit to that.
Bruh, I'm telling you verbatim. The quote unquote benefits of children having sex with adults. This is where we are, dog. And if you vote Democrat, this is what you're voting for. Period.
Oh, well, I would never do that, but it's just...
If you study history, all of these major civilizations, ancient Rome, Greece, Babylon, all fell. Right before their fall was the acceptance of every disgusting and depraved moral proclivity imaginable.
Oh, yeah, especially where we're headed.
This is where we're headed. And we got to fight back against it. Dude. We have to. What's your other question about the conservative?
Okay, about takeover of ideologies and things like that.
Okay.
When did all right? And I hope that this doesn't offend you.
Because no,
I'm not necessarily a really religious person.
Sure, go right ahead.
There was a time when I was, but it's just not now. And when did the evangelicals take over the conservative part of the Republican Party? And why is that? Why do they hold so much power?
Okay. Now, I'm sorry.
I think that what happened to you're an intelligent conservative. I consider myself an intelligent conservative. What happened to guys like what's his name? The guy who played Frasier, Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah,
he's one of them intelligent conservatives.
Kind of quiet.
What happened to that? Why they all gotta be Jesus and it's because God said that.
I can answer that.
Why?
In all honesty, that was largely Reagan. Reagan ushered in Jerry Falwell. You remember Jerry Falwell?
Yeah, I remember Falwell.
Yeah. They ushered in the moral majority. That was part of Reagan's presidential strategy, his second run for the presidency in 1980, the one he won. He also ran in 1976.
Right.
And they got a voice. I mean, they're a huge part of the Republican Party. Just like Black America, hopefully less and less, but Black Black women are a large part of the Democrats' base of voters. So they have to speak to the desires of Black women and women in general. And that's the same thing with the conservatives, brother. It was a campaign strategy. Reagan won the country with them. Of course, he's beholden to them once they get him in office, and so they get a large voice in the Republican Party. You notice I don't talk about religion, almost never. I don't talk.
No, I notice it. You hardly ever talk.
I almost never talk about it because it's divisive. I think I leave religion up to the individual. I'm not trying to proselytize or get anybody to believe in any religion or anything. For me, conservatism is largely a cultural issue, and it's how Black people can save themselves culturally, how we can change our behavior. But just to be honest with you, religious conservatives, they're going to have a voice in the Republican Party. They just are. And, you know, one of the main things I love about being a conservative is that I genuinely believe in live and let live. You know, if you're a religious conservative, hey, that's you. You know, if you're a homosexual, do your thing. Just don't shove that shit down my throat, you know?
Right.
And,
Right.
you know, but I believe that, you know, the Tea Party, which a large portion of their base are religious conservatives, you know, they have a voice. They have a voice and they should be heard. You know,
Nobody should deny their voice. It's just I have these conversations on Reddit with other conservatives, and they're like, "Man, we need them for the votes."
that's true.
And that's really what it is.
And like I said, it was Reagan's strategy
for the votes.
Help them get elected. Absolutely.
Right, but that doesn't allow us to be. All right.
Well, what's your fears of their growth, of their influence over the party? What do you?
Okay, because the party has become majorly anti-intellectual.
Okay,
Because of
that, there are elements of that. That's true.
And I mean, I'm an intelligent guy. I figure you to be a fairly erudite guy, and I just think that I like science and physics and everything, and I think that that's, you know, where we're going, and it just seems to me like that constituent of the conservatives holds us back, because being conservative doesn't necessarily mean not moving forward.
Absolutely. You're trying to conserve the things that made this country a place that people died to try to get to.
Right. Like I consider myself fiscally conservative.
Gotcha.
Definitely fiscally conservative.
I'm a social conservative and fiscally conservative.
I'm a moderate conservative on almost every other
social
like,
and stuff like that. Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, like because I don't care about, you know, people's homosexuality and all that. I mean, that's their thing.
That's their thing.
And like you said, don't put it in my face. Do you?
Don't put my son in a dress. Okay?
Definitely not
don't
that.
Put my goddamn. Let's try to put my son in a dress. All right.
Definitely not that.
Yeah, man. I understand, but see, this is what I like about the Republican Party. We exist under this large tent. There's differing ideologies. There are pro-choice Republicans, and of course, most Republicans are pro-life. Whereas on the Democrat side, like I said, you can't be a pro-life Democrat, period. You see what I'm saying? You know, these differing perspectives can exist under the umbrella of republicanism.
True,
They're
but
not allowed to exist under the Democrat Party. They're just not.
No, they're not. But I think that after Roe v. Wade, it should, it shouldn't even have been a conversation. Yeah, let it go through, and whoever's gonna do it, and whoever's conservative enough to not, forage into abortion and stuff like that, won't. And that should be it. I don't understand why that is like the number 2 talking point of every political election.
Well,
almost 40 years later.
And Lasher, we disagree on that. And it's cool that we disagree on that. I've never gotten angry at a black man because we disagree.
Neither am I.
I'm very anti-abortion unless it's in the case of rape and incest.
Oh, and I agree, and I feel the same way.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you about that guy Gosnell.
Yes, I looked him up.
You did?
I had heard about him, in the early, after 2010 and 11. I remember hearing him, but I forgot. Yeah, the Philadelphia abortionist. Yes, sir.
Oh man, I was mad. When I first read about it, I was like, "Oh God, that is just ridiculous." I was mad when I found out he was a brother. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked when I saw he was black.
He was killing our soldiers, man. Come on,
dude. And he would deliver fully viable,
fully live
42-week children. These children can survive outside of the womb on their own with no problem. Well, not with no problem. They'll need to be in an incubator. But these would be children that were 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old now.
Living souls.
Absolutely. He would kill them and throw them in the trash.
Right. And it's not like he was even okay. I know a lot of abortionists give fetuses to do
medical
stem cells and things like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know, and as much as I don't care for abortion, stem cells are something that we need to progress our science so that our medical community can become better to help more people. And that's altruistic of me to think that way. But I mean, this dude was just killing them and throwing them in the garbage. And we already have the whole thing of what 1,600 to 1,800 black abortions a day.
Well, I did a little arithmetic, and I've been pushing this abortion issue all across the manosphere, dude. I always find
no one likes to talk about it.
Yeah, but now they are talking about it. Angry Man even talked about it. Mr. Fantastic's not talking about it. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm the reason they're talking about it, but I do know there wasn't much talk about abortion until I got up and started pushing this issue.
I'll say that you have a lot more influence than you think you do.
I understood, man. And when my channel starts, hopefully soon, I'm waiting on a couple of things to get done. I'm waiting on my intro, and I also want this comic strip to be at the top of my YouTube page. I'm waiting for those things to get done.
Oh yeah, you working with SKC?
Yes.
Already. Already.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I know I've got a voice in the space, and people are going to be listening to them and stuff. But I did a little arithmetic, and I've been saying this across the manosphere. I believe it's black women have had either 20 or 22 million abortions. It depends on what information you're looking at, right? So at 20 million abortions, if you divide that over 46, which is the number of years Roe versus Wade has been the law of the land, that's an average of 434,000 abortions every year.
Every year.
Every single year. If you go with the number 22 million, that's 478,000 abortions every year just by black women. Dude, they're using abortion as a means of birth control.
I know.
That is sadistic.
What gets me the most is when you can pay $10 for a box of condoms.
Exactly.
You can pay $40 for a next day pill.
Or your birth control.
Yes. Or you get subsidized birth control.
Exactly.
From my taxes and yours.
Exactly.
And you can take a pill every day. Why would you pay $400 to $800 to get rid of a living soul?
And the psychological repercussions these women suffer, boy. I know 3 women that had abortions, and I know what it's done to them.
I know a woman that got 5 kids who had 6 abortions.
Oh my God, dude.
I used to work with her. And she, you know what? She ain't a bad person. She was a real good person. She was like, well, yeah, we used to get wild. It'd be 6, 7 us fucking and all that. And then when you get pregnant, you don't know who the daddy is. It was like, well, you shouldn't have been raw. If you want to have orgies and shit, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You're young and wild. I get it. But damn, you can't just be raw dogging it and just and just play it like you wake up the next morning and you don't feel worried when you let a whole bunch of people bust all up in you.
Dude, and
the scary
part is some poor soul may marry that broad one day.
I know a sap
that's terrifying, dude. That's terrifying.
I know a sap that did and bought her a house and everything.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
One of the employees, or another employee that I used to work, he was one of my employees. And he was like, I guess he had been crushing on her for like 4 years, and he waited till he got done with his second divorce and then shacked up with her and her grown ass kids. And oh man, it was a mess. It was like, I gave him a copy of Rollo Tomasi's The Rational Male.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And he got mad at me. I'm like, man, take this shit, man. I said, nah, man, I got to go.
Did he read it?
I guess he took it home and he read it for a couple of days, and then he was like, no, man, fuck this shit.
Oh my God.
I had the same book. I've given it to multiple people.
Oh,
and it's only one dude that took notes from it, because he highlighted. You don't mind if I put highlights in here? I'm like, no, man. I was like, if it's working for you that much, you can keep it. He was like, no, I want to return your book. But at the same time, I learned a lot and made some note cards and everything. I was like,
wow.
He finally took the pill, but this guy, I mean, he went and married her. They bought a big old house in Balch Springs. And
oh my God. Gee whiz.
what are you niggas doing today, man?
Bro, and I guarantee you those boys or those men, those young men or men were raised by single mothers, though. I guarantee you.
But okay, she had 4 daughters and a son, and the youngest son is the one that had the emotional problems and what do they call it, like ADD, ODD, and all that. He's the youngest one, which was the boy, had the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking to myself, dude, you buried this woman and she too old to bear any kids for you, and you gonna take care of her whole family?
Ooh.
Are you out of your mind? I mean,
the first thing I did, I got custody of my children when they were 2 and 5. I divorced my ex-wife in 2004, and I was awarded full custody. And when my son was 13, 14, though, we sat down and we talked, and to this day, he's 22. We still talk about, and I don't even need to tell my son anything else. My son is teaching other young men about how to handle women now.
That's right.
About what women to avoid, and when a woman's trying to play you, and like at his job, some new girl will come in. There was this buddy in his named Luke. Luke would just start tripping over any new girl that would start at his job, and he'd be like, "Man, play it cool, dog. Stop chasing these women, man. Just, be focused on what, he's all about guns. This is white dude named Luke. He said, man, just focus on, you practicing with your weapons and becoming proficient in what your purpose is, man. The women will end up chasing you, dude." He did it. And now couple of these young girls up at his job are now chasing after Luke, and tons of these girls at his job come after him, but he's not interested. When he was 13 and 14, I said, son, the first thing you do when you're interested in a young lady, at the time, the 2 main social media things for young people were Vine and Instagram. I said, you check her Vine and her Instagram. If she's on there cursing or twerking or doing whatever, that's not a girl you want to deal with. Right. That's not a girl you want to be dealing with. Right. And so today at 22 years old, like he'll meet a girl, he'll tell me about it. And like a couple of weeks later, I say, well, whatever happened with such and such? He'll say, Dad, there's nothing I can do with her. The same thing I would say. I say, son, there's nothing you can do with her. He's a grown man now saying, Dad, there's nothing I can do with her. Nothing I can do with her.
That's the way to be.
Yes,
well,
sir.
I mean, I figured, okay, you what, mid-40s, right?
Yeah, 46.
46. Yeah, you same age. Well, my brother is actually 47. You about the same age.
Yes, sir.
I got an 8-year. Well, not 8. I'm sorry. I got a 5-year-old daughter, a kindergartner.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's just getting started.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So she gonna be the ultimate red pill woman.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my daughter too. My daughter went to go live with her mother 2 years ago when she was 17. I raised her time she was 2 to 17. When she was 16, she came home. She told me a story about how she was at her lunch table, right? And one of her favorite artists is Chris Brown. So she's talking about Chris Brown with her friends, and a couple of the other girls started talking about Chris Brown. He beat Rihanna, and how Chris Brown's a monster. And then my daughter told her the real story about what happened to Chris Brown. She said, my daughter, she said, Daddy, I told them that Chris Brown didn't do anything wrong. Chris Brown was driving in his Lamborghini, and a phone call came, and Rihanna saw it was from a girl that Chris was supposedly messing with. And Rihanna grabbed Chris Brown's penis with one hand and started punching him with her other hand. They almost crashed. All right.
And killed both of them.
Almost crashed and killed both of them. And then Chris Brown pulled over and he defended himself. My daughter said Chris Brown didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, dog. That's my daughter, dog. Yes, sir. And
you got a good one now.
She shut them girls down. Shut their fucking mouths. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm getting mine trained young because, man, I already know,
brother.
My daughter half breed, so she looked like a little Italian girl.
Oh, she you know, a
She
lot of
gonna
those
have
calls
motherfucker
we
be
have
coming
for
at her hard.
Oh yeah, they'll be. My daughter's, you know, light skinned. My ex-wife was like, my daughter is gorgeous. And a lot of dudes say that about my daughter. I actually showed my daughter once on Bernard Riley, and yeah, my daughter is stunningly beautiful and 19 years old and a virgin. A
Oh
virgin,
wow! See,
yes sir.
that's what you're looking for when
19
you that.
is
Well, that's what you're looking for. The funny part is, like a lot of these guys that get into this space,
well, they want a wife like that. Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, but at the same time, I mean, it goes back to the old, even the Islamics talk about it. You should get a woman that's half your age plus 7.
Exactly. Yeah, Elijah Muhammad taught that. Yeah, that's what's in the movie. The Malcolm X the movie. Elijah Muhammad says that. Yes, absolutely.
That's in the Quran too, though. That's actually in the
Okay,
Quran.
cool.
Because they even go back. I mean, so that go back 1400 some years, and I was
Yes,
like,
sir.
"There's a
Yes,
reason
sir.
why."
Older men and younger women are supposed to be together. I told my daughter, I said, sweetheart, when you're ready to start searching for a husband, you need to look no less than 10 years. And you need to be married by the time you're 25.
Yep.
So when you start looking, when you're 22, 23, and you start actually looking for a husband, you need to start looking at dudes that are 32, 33, 35. That's where you need to start looking.
But you need to vet them too.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I told her, you know, before she went to go live with her mother, we had several conversations. And I told her, I said, look, we've talked about how we're going to handle this dating thing, right? She said, yeah, I know. I said, you get out there, you know, you meet some young man that you want to start dating, you call me, we'll discuss it. I'll fly out and I'll meet him, you know, and I'll have the talk. And I've even talked to her about what the talk is. And that's how this is going to play out. Now, if you choose, because you're a grown woman, you know, she's 19 now. So you're a grown woman. If you want to date some dude and you don't want to involve me, that's fine. But don't you call me if some shit goes haywire.
Right.
You fucking call me, because I told you how this needs to go. Black women need to pay the consequences for ignoring proper black male leadership. Let them pay the fucking consequences, though.
You know what? I agree with you, but I have some sympathy in the sense when I think about my niece, my brother's daughter. You know, my brother, while he wasn't the model citizen, obviously, he did right by his daughter.
Uh-huh.
In the sense of like he provided everything. Like he got locked up when he was younger, and he got out, and all the money that he made doing what he did, he had put away. He married his wife, they had a baby, and he got a house, nice house, suburbs. She went to good schools, private schools, and everything. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do.
Gotcha.
And then my niece, who's 25 now, she went to Yale. She got into Yale.
Oh, wow.
She went to Yale. She finished with a degree in biochemistry.
Wow. All right.
And ended up getting knocked up right after graduation by one of these pookies.
Well, you know, I can, you know, her dad was locked up, you said?
So he was locked up, but when he got out, he got locked up like right after she was born. So, and he got out and she was like 6.
Okay, did he play a role in her life?
Yeah, from that point on,
he did
all the way. I mean, and he had me tutoring her to make sure she got into Yale. You know.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So he was like, "You're the smart one." He's like, "I'm the money one. You're the smart." I'm like, "No, I'm the money one, but I'm the one with the looks." But, you know, so you know,
the modesty too.
It's a thing between me and my brother. I'm like, I'm the one.
Nah,
with the
that's
looks.
cool, man. I like that.
He's like, how you the one with the looks when we both look like our daddy? I was like, well, I got the good features and you didn't. But
man, I understand having sympathy for some women's circumstances, but
I was mad when I heard about it though, because I'm like, you a Ivy League graduate, you black, you get knocked
He had
up by a
everything.
fucking Pookie?
And
A Pookie!
Serious? He was a Pookie? Are you serious?
The guy, if she got a 3-year-old by a Pookie right now.
Wow. Jesus, dude.
I mean, it's like that's what it makes me feel like, man, why is it black women just can't get away from it? No matter what they do, they just can't get away from it.
The reason is it's the power and the allure of the culture. A father has to be in the house.
Oh, he was in the house the entire time. I mean, from 5 on.
No, I understand. But it just goes to show that even when the father is in the house, that's how strong the allure of the culture is, brother, is what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, that's why I don't expose my daughter to it at all. She don't know
exactly.
When I play hip hop on my decks, it's headphones only, or she sleep, or she not in the house. It's like that. She don't get exposed to it. None of that shit on TV because my wife is white as the day is long. Lily white is what I would call it. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
And she don't get exposed to none of that outside shit. And I worry about it that at some point it's still gonna seep in there when I'm not being vigilant enough. You know what I mean?
Well, let me tell you what I did with my daughter, dog. Every night, every single night when we ate around a dinner table. Mm-hmm. And I'm at the head of it, of course. So it's me, my son, and my daughter, dog.
That's how I grew up.
Absolutely. And you have to constantly drop those jewels. You have to, whenever you see some wild shit on TV, I would pause the TV and I would explain to her why that's wrong, why that doesn't make any sense, why those people are wrong. You gotta and do, like I said, my daughter's 19 now. She argues and debates with people about the shit, like with the Chris Brown shit. She's one of the most logical black women you will ever come across.
That's wonderful.
And it just got to the point, she was 17. And I'll be honest, we were having some issues. And she wanted to finally go live with her mother. She wanted to be, and she had interactions with her mother her whole life, but she had never lived with her, And at 17, I said, okay, well, go ahead, because just like with a little boy, a single mom should not have her son after 5 years old. That boy needs to go be with his father, period.
Yeah, I told my wife that, and she said, I know, but then he didn't want him to go.
Oh, okay. You're talking about her.
My wife at the other side of the house. So,
gotcha. No, understood, bro.
But I mean, like with my niece, it's just like, I mean, you should be. I think to myself, you should be sitting in a lab working on cures for coronavirus or whatever it is.
Why didn't you go home with the chemical engineer, the black chemical engineer, or something? Why didn't you go get with him? He's headed, is she an attractive?
Because it wasn't enough of them guys that was attractive at school with her.
No, she probably wanted that thug nigga. Most of them.
That's what it is.
That's just what it is, man.
And really what it come down to, my brother was that thug nigga until he stopped being that to become a dad.
Gotcha.
But it was still remnants of it.
Oh, of course.
And I guess she was exposed to the remnants of it, and it's like that's why I don't expose my daughter to none of that shit. My daughter, she like 80s music. She like turn on Prince.
Dude, my daughter loves Michael Jackson and Chris.
Michael Jackson. She
loves Michael Jackson.
She like Madonna,
old school shit. Absolutely,
absolutely. That's my daughter now, and I wanted to keep it that way,
bruh. Well, take it from a man that's raised a little girl. Every day, bro. If you're driving in the car, have a conversation. If y'all are sitting on the couch and she's, sitting on your lap or something, have a conversation. Talk to her every day. Take every opportunity to plant seeds in her head that are going to germinate later on, bro.
And that's what I try to do.
Awesome. That's the best thing to do. And when she gets 18, 19, 20, she's going to make her own decisions. And hopefully she'll make the right one.
I tell her all the time, don't you vote for these motherfucking Democrats. My
daughter hates them too. She hates Democrats. She's 19, and I even asked her about voting. She's kind of like, well, Daddy, I don't know. I don't really think I want to vote, but I'm trying to tell you, you may want to go vote for Trump. She's defended Trump against her mom. Her mom hates Trump, and she's spoken up for him. But dude, yeah, man, just keep planting them seeds, bro. Every opportunity, pause the TV and talk to us.
All the time.
In the car, talk to her. Just little conversations. They don't have to be long, drawn-out conversations. Just, you see that? A couple of gay guys walking together. You see that? They have the right to do that, but that's unnatural.
Yeah.
That's not the way it's supposed to be.
That's why I have to screen the stuff that she watches.
Absolutely.
Nowadays, where back in the day, you didn't have to do that. But
dude, SpongeBob is gay. SpongeBob
is
gay
come
now.
on, dog.
Dude,
SpongeBob ain't gay,
I swear to God, Nickelodeon came out on this gay coming out day or something, and Google it. Google SpongeBob is gay. Nickelodeon said SpongeBob is gay now.
I know they had another show where like the Loud Kids or something where it was like 10 kids living with their parents, and then like the man is like 9 girls and a boy, right? And I was watching, because I had to watch this stuff with her, and the friend of the boy, of course, he's a little black boy. He had a black dad and a white dad, and he's like, my 2 dads. And I said, nope, turn the channel off.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. SpongeBob is gay. Dude, this is all part of a larger plan, man.
That Korra, the Avatar, is gay.
Oh wow.
I was like, man,
it's insane, dude. And we have to speak up against it. We have to take the barbs. We have to deal with the attacks. We just have to. Some people, men, are going to have to stand up and speak out against this shit, dude. And one of the things we can do to say we don't agree with the shit, in all honesty, is voting for Donald Trump. It is a middle finger in the eye of these motherfuckers. It just is, man. Not that Trump is some great moral figure or anything like that.
Because he's definitely not. I give him respect for being straight edge.
Absolutely. The thing I like, one of the main things I like about Donald Trump is he says exactly what he believes. He's going to tell you exactly what he believes, and then you can either agree or disagree.
Right.
I have the power as an informed voter and American citizen to either agree or disagree with him. That's what I appreciate about the man. That's what I appreciate about the Constitution. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a beautiful document. Beautiful document. And black people, man, our biggest fucking problem is, and even black men do this shit, is teaching our children that they don't have a chance out here.
No, I don't do that.
The white man, the white policeman is going to destroy them and take their life. This is bullshit.
Yeah, that's all bullshit. And I don't teach, like, my daughter's 5, and, I talk about it with myself. I have like internal dialogues with myself saying, do I want to teach her about slavery and all that kind of shit? I was like, and she knows nothing about it. Gotcha. She's 5. And I told myself, I don't think I'm going to even talk to her about it. I'll let her find out about it when she gets older, so that she doesn't develop that slavery mentality while she's so young.
The victim mentality. That's what
the victim mentality. I don't want her to develop that.
Yeah, victimhood, man. Yeah, that's the problem, dog. Victimhood, man. Yeah, absolutely. Do whatever you feel is best with the young lady. I
got one last thing for you.
Sure.
One last major thing for you, and I want to get your opinion on this because I don't want to hold you too long.
Sure. Go ahead.
How do you feel about what's going to happen to the Supreme Court now that Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away?
Wow. I appreciate Trump moving forward. He's such a ballsy motherfucker. That's what I love. He don't give a shit what the media says about him. And they work night and day. Harvard did a study. 93% of what was on CNN was negative about Trump.
Of course it was.
93%. And they did another study on MSNBC. 96%.
Cut Nut Network.
All they do is attack him morning, noon, and night. Now, as far as the Supreme Court choice, I don't know anything about this woman. I'm starting. There's more information. Of course, I'm being careful where I get my information about her. If you get it from MSNBC, she's the, she's Satan
She's
incarnate.
the devil. Yeah.
Satan incarnate. If you get it from Breitbart or National Review, you might, you're going to get a more balanced idea of who and what she is. But she has like 7 children. Yeah, the woman they're considering is a woman. She's very anti-abortion. She has like 7 children.
Well, she's part of that whole, what do they call them? It's not a cult, but it's like a group where they feel like they should repopulate
the earth.
Yeah, with all these different, with a bunch of children, and
I ain't got no problem with that.
You know what? Well, the earth don't need a whole bunch of children right now.
Well, actually, we do need people, bro.
Well, they need people. We need, but black people need people more.
No. It seems like all the wrong black people have children.
Yeah,
most of the time.
But then again, when I'm talking about American blacks, it goes back to that abortion thing that we talked about earlier. How is it possible that white people their whole population went in the past 40 years went from like 150 million to 220 million, and ours is still stuck at 13%, 44 million.
Yeah,
it's because they kept killing all them damn babies.
Abortion, yeah. And it's not only the killing of the baby, it's the terrible context and way these women live their lives. They're so reckless with their vaginas.
Yeah, because the babies that they do bring into the world grow up to be nobody.
Yeah. I mean, black men are doing well in this country. 64% of us are in the middle class.
Oh yeah, I'm right there.
And what's crazy is we're doing well not because of the way we were raised. We do well in spite of the way we were raised.
Exactly.
In spite of it, we still prosper. We still persevere. So, that's a testament to our stick-to-itiveness and our determination as black men.
Right.
But
what do you think that not so much the candidate that Trump might have for the Supreme Court, but what do you think that
it will mean?
What it'll mean regarding becomes president and their candidate.
Conservative court. Having a conservative court. What do
I think that we need a conservative court, but then we also know that Clarence is the next oldest.
Yeah, with Scalia, he's gone. And now, Clarence is the next oldest. Yeah,
he's the oldest now.
But even with 5, Roberts has proven to be not even a conservative. Yeah, he's flopped on a whole bunch of stuff. Roberts has. But in all honesty, I look forward to it. We've had several decades of a left-leaning court, and we see the problems that it's caused. We've got DACA being upheld. We got gay marriage being passed. And these are just my personal cultural beliefs that marriage should be between a man and a woman. Is the Supreme Court supposed to interpret law, or they're supposed to make up law? Are you supposed to interpret the Constitution, strictly interpret it, or are you supposed to speak for it?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, it's that, some believe that. But the left-leaning court makes up what they believe the Constitution means instead of just strictly interpreting what it means. So I'd like to see what a conservative court does, what it means in America, because I don't recall when we've had that, especially during my lifetime, So.
No, neither in my lifetime, but the only thing is, thing that I think I don't think they need to be 100% conservative court, because how I spoke earlier about how the evangelicals are taking over the court
Mhm.
or taking over the the conservative side.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we need someone liberal to balance it out. But
Yeah, balance, absolutely. But then they're not going to get rid of all the liberal judges. There's plenty. I mean, John Roberts is flipping over on the leftist and liberal side on several issues.
no, I just think that he's a moderate conservative.
Well, he voted in. John Roberts was the deciding vote on Obamacare and several other issues. So, he's actually voted against the interests of conservatives a bunch of times, kind of like Kennedy did. Kennedy was supposed to be a right-leaning type of judge, a justice, and a lot of times he sided with leftist, and he was the swing vote a lot of times, Kennedy. But I don't know that I can speak to what it will be like because I don't have a breadth of knowledge on how a conservative court is going to govern, but we'll see. All I can say is we'll see on that,
We
and if
will
it's
see.
bad, then we will. Then our civilization will make adjustments. And
I just don't want a majorly conservative court to progress our scientific knowledge.
to stifle it, to stifle it. Okay.
Yeah, to stifle it.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand, and I see your fear about the conflict between people who are strict religious conservatives and their lack of acknowledgement of certain scientific truths. I can see that
Because I mean, I am a conservative. I am.
Mm-hmm.
I lean moderate conservative.
Gotcha.
I'm starting to lean more libertarian as each day passes, but at the same time, I care about the advancement of the human race, regardless of what we all are, and I just want our scientific advancement to go forward.
Sure. Understood. Now, you do understand that there are several quote unquote scientific advancements that we may not want to move forward also.
Now, which ones? Okay, all right, good. This is good. Yeah.
The human genome and
the human genome project has
and,
already been cracked.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Not all science is good. Not all quote unquote advancements that they're trying to make are good advancements.
Well, I'm not talking about mad science.
Okay. Well, I just want to say that, for the record.
I mean, okay, we banned cloning the second that it happened, right?
But there are like chimeras being born now.
But people, chimerism has always been a thing that people have been born with for 250,000 years.
But they're trying to breed human/animal. I read and hear about a lot of crazy shit that's going on.
Oh, me too.
Crazy shit.
Me too.
I mean, look at COVID. That came out of a goddamn laboratory. Scientists involved in shit they have no business doing.
It came out of a laboratory in China with scientists doing shit they shouldn't have been doing with bats.
Yes.
Which bats are major. I mean, look at Ebola. That comes from bats.
Yeah.
And the coronavirus diseases that come from bats, there's been a few of them. SARS. Okay. That is all because I'll say this, and I hope I don't get flagged or anything, but I'll say this. It's because the Chinese won't get away from traditional Chinese medicine, feeling the need to eat bats and pangolins and all that other stuff that they go to those wet markets for. If you want to eat, go to your grocery store and buy a chicken. You don't need to eat a bat. You don't need to kill a rhino and get his horn because you think it's gonna make your dick bigger.
Further and further. Yeah.
It's none of that has any proof or any scientific proof, and that's what you call TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, and that's part of the reason that we're having the problem that we're having today
with COVID. Gotcha.
Yes.
But my point is that science can be problematic also.
Science is neither evil or good. It's neutral. It is what it is.
It can be problematic when it's in the hands of the wrong people.
So can guns.
Absolutely.
And I love them.
But
But if the wrong people have them, like the wrong people have them in the in neighborhoods like Inglewood,
yeah,
and the good
exactly.
people don't have them.
Yeah, when the good people don't have them, it's a problem too. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. So
So
very
I think that
interesting.
science is neutral. Now there is mad science, you know. I mean, of course, you know, it when people are sitting there sitting in a lab and trying to create a virus to uh, destroy people, or you know, like how you hear those tinfoil theories about we invented this to kill the blacks type
Mhm.
thing. Yeah, that's tinfoil, but there are people trying to do that, and
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
science, but it's mad
Absolutely.
science.
Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
talking about more like super science, like space travel and you know,
Things
electric
that can help
limbs for
humanity
people
eventually.
with
Yeah.
amputees and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Regrowing the spinal cord so people can walk again, and
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, things of that nature. I understand completely. But I'm about to sit down and eat dinner, bruh. And
Go
man,
ahead, have it, man. And I am glad that you came today, brother. And I'm glad I've had this conversation with you. You know, I'll send you my phone number. You can give me a call
oh,
anytime.
absolutely, bruh. We'll
Hey,
definitely exchange numbers, and like when my platform starts, I'll definitely have you on mine. I'll be back on yours, and we'll grow this thing. Absolutely.
well, definitely, yeah. I'll talk about the politics of gaming, and we can go back and forth. We can do this, man. Hey, would you be willing to come back next Tuesday? I can make this a weekly thing.
I can
Oh no,
email
no, not next Tuesday. I got something going on. But
email me, and we'll talk about it. Absolutely, we'll talk about it.
all right, I know. This weekend I got to take my daughter to the
Oh
symphony
wow, cool
orchestra.
deal,
I
cool
try to
deal.
do that every few months. I take her to the Fort Worth Symphony Orchestra.
Expose her to that. Absolutely, man.
Oh
That's
yeah,
all.
culture.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
It's cheap, man. I mean, you can go. I can go, and it's like $25.
And you look like the dad of the century. You have
Yeah, because they're like this black dude.
exactly. Yeah, when I had my daughter in gymnastics, I'm sitting there with all these white suburban moms, and I'm sitting there waiting for my daughter to finish her gymnastics lesson. They would look at me like, "Oh my God, what a committed father!"
Right. Yeah, I'm waiting for gymnastics to open back up down here because you know the COVID thing, and
Oh, sure, absolutely,
so I can
absolutely.
get her in that, and I'll do the martial arts with her because I did martial arts for I don't know 25 years.
Oh wow, good deal, good deal. My
Yeah,
son does martial arts. Yeah, Muay Thai, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
I'm trying to get into all that, and when she get old enough, I'll go take her to the range so she can learn how to shoot. So we can
Absolutely. My son's doing that too.
I'm like, yeah,
Absolutely.
you gotta learn how to shoot these motherfuckers. So they out of line.
Self-defense. Absolutely. The most valuable thing you can do when these black women run their mouths about protection, if they had a real man in their life, he would have taught them how to protect themselves. And protection first is about knowing how to act. And these black
Yes,
women don't know how to act. That's
yes,
why they get so many goddamn problems.
because if you know
And
how to act, your man will protect you. But if you
absolutely.
know how to act, you won't get into too many situations where you need to
95% of the
be
problems
protected.
95% of the problems they face is because they don't know how to act. But yeah, bro, I got to bounce, man. But absolutely, just shoot me an email, man. We'll definitely link up.
Oh, definitely. And spread me around. Tell them your boy Lasher is off the hook.
Absolutely, we're gonna start doing that. We're gonna start doing that, man. Absolutely.
All right. Well, it was good having you on. I thank you for coming. Salute to you, and we'll talk again.
Absolutely, man. Very soon. Salute to you, Lasher, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye. One. Bam.